We're doing Instagram questions. I have a bunch from last week that I saved. And then, Dusty, I know you put up a question box the other night. So I know that we're doing good.
Today. Yeah, we got
so I know that we're doing good for questions. What else is new? Any other news? What's going on?
We don't really have a lot of news except for that, my
Nothing
dogs
big happened since the last episode?
Not, other than the attack that just took place because the dogs realized that, 2 hours ago someone went outside.
I went to Canada for one day, so that was cool. I had to go pick up some stuff for the wife. It was good.
You have any enamel bar left?
I don't. I just ate it. I brought those back. I hung out with my father-in-law for the day, and it was a very Ontario experience, Ron. It was very like Letterkenny.
Drink a beer and listen to Tragically Hip albums?
Well, they were drinking the beers, and we were sitting there like in the edge of, you can picture this, like sitting in a barn, and right at the edge of the barn doors, lawn chairs, just kind of sitting there like this. We had a pellet rifle. Occasionally we're shooting a pellet rifle. And we drank some beers and told stories. Well, I didn't drink the beers. I drank water, but
you fit right in.
It was good. It was good. I felt like I was at home. I feel a little more Canadian now. I do.
What kind of shoes did you wear during this?
Regular shoes.
Like Crocs?
I'm going to take the Crocs to the UK though. They're coming with me. They're the perfect shoe for the plane.
Please go back. Go back. You can't say regular shoes. What are regular shoes? What do you mean? Like say like
a New Balance? Are you a dad?
Oh, I was wearing Nikes. Wearing Nikes.
Nikes. Okay.
Yeah. Metcons.
Are you wearing
my jam?
Are you wearing which ones?
Metcons. I like Metcons.
What are
they on your feet right now? Let me see this.
No, I have these are the Nike Pegasus. These are running shoes that I'm currently wearing.
You just bought those. I remember that. Yes. You put that.
It looks cool, man. It's like, it reminds me of the shoes that like people wore when I was a kid, like in the early 80s.
Are you faster in those?
So much faster. Faster than the Crocs.
Kids, they immediately put them on. Of course you are.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. Either. I have something big. Something big.
What's up?
I have something big. My feet are killing me.
No,
I think I need a different shoe. And my feet kill me in my Chucks lately. And I think it's because of my biking. Obviously, I'm destroying my feet. They don't hurt on the bike, though. Like when I go biking, my feet don't bother me at all. But then the next day, when I'm like walking around the gym in my Chucks, my fucking feet are killing me. So I need to maybe try a different shoe.
A different shoe for while you're on the bike or for while you're walking around the gym the next day?
No, the shoes on the bike, I'm wearing the high top. They're not Chucks, but like they're the ones with the thicker ankle pad around the thicker ankle part. The high tops are kind of like, fancy Chucks. And they have a little bit of a thicker sole. And I've been riding in those and I love them. They fucking they don't bug my feet at all. But then when I go and put my regular Chucks on, my feet are killing me now. So I need advice from our listeners on a shoe to try. And I got wide feet.
Nikes might not be the best bet then, because they're a little.
You need On Clouds.
Narrow. On Clouds? What's that?
On Clouds.
You've seen them.
I'll pull them up. I'm going to show you my shoe too. This is the Metcon. Like
Crocs?
That's the Metcon.
Oh, that looks like a cross trainer. That looks like something you could like wear for all athlete type stuff.
Yes. Ooh, what's this?
That's what I just told him to get. It is a training. I always fuck up which way to go on this goddamn thing.
Let's see the sole. I need a flat sole though. Are you talking about just like to help my feet normal day to day?
Yes, this is good for your feet to walk around in. They have different. This weighs like an ounce.
Yeah.
Okay. I like a really light shoe. I don't want.
You're not going to like what they cost.
Sweaty Jordans anymore.
You're going to be mad at me because they're like $150 a piece.
Okay.
A piece? And each shoe?
Each?
Yes, a piece. Skis, huh? They're yours?
Left and right.
Both of them?
Specific about this.
Yeah, do not get the 2 R's. I thought it'd be cool to get like an RR, like a motorcycle.
Be careful when you load your cart.
No.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, those are good. I think you'll like them, but we'll take the listeners' advice too, and then obviously I don't know shit, but these I like.
I know that's a real risk.
I don't have to tie them either, which is huge for me. I hate tying shoes. You know, like
I'm
Crocs,
interested.
for example. You don't have to tie them, but you do have to bedazzle them.
You do. It's a
That's
lot of
the
work.
thing.
It's a
Then you
lot of
also-
work.
There's a lot of deep things that you have to give up to wear Crocs, like in your
Manhood.
soul. And
In your soul.
Exactly. I had a couple this weekend, by the way. I saw the one that tagged you.
Yeah, I should
But
find that.
I called them out actually. I was like,
Did you?
"Nice fucking shoes."
yeah,
I'm not talking to you.
I think in
Go
the
away.
future I'm gonna be like, "Oh, you want a photo? Cool, take those off."
Yeah, no
Or you have
Crocs
to
in the
crop
picture.
them out of the picture.
Yeah.
They can be cropped, but you know, I'm always a little more worried when I see that they've got the intensity strap around the ankle.
It's
Like maybe they're gonna run off.
that's the sport mode is actually what it's called. Sport mode. When you put the strap on your ankle.
activate sport mode.
Yeah,
at
you
some
do.
point,
You do. Sometimes I do it when we're walking
Bend
around the
down.
block.
and you just pull that strap. It's just like turning your hat backwards.
No, there's no bending down, Ron. Here's the way it works. Victoria says, "Hey, Scott, do you want to walk the dogs around the block with me? Because we do that twice a day to get out of the house since we both work from home." And I say, "Okay, sure, babe. I'll be there in just a minute." And I already have the Crocs on. I make sure I got my gun, of course. Go upstairs.
You're in Detroit, yeah.
We began walking around the block, and then I say, "Oh, hold on just a second." And you kick it off, and you use your foot to just, push the sport mode, thing back, and then you just slip your foot right in.
You can just adjust it with your foot. Just push on it.
There's no bending down.
Does that make sure by displaying that in front of her that she doesn't bother you for sexual activity later or something?
It's already been
Are you
done.
trying
It's
to
like that was mid-afternoon. We're done with that. For the
Are you conserving time? You're like,
Between the
she's
two
starting to
dog
kind of
walks.
look at me different. I need to make sure I lock this back down by showing her that I'm wearing Crocs.
Yeah, it already happened before the dog walk. I don't care anymore, at that
Yeah,
point.
we're good.
For the day. Yeah.
I had to go there. I had to know.
Yeah, fuck those Crocs. I don't even know.
I saw that in a movie, and it was like two sisters, and the younger one looks at her. She goes, "Oh, I love that shirt you put on Kevin." And she goes, "Oh, you do?" She goes, "Yeah, is that a thing? So like no one else wants to fuck him? That's cool." I was like, "That's how I feel." All right, it makes sense. All right,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Be careful when you take their advice on what to wear. You don't know what stage you're at.
Yeah. That's a good point. All sorts of advice on this show.
You know,
You at all.
sorts of advice.
You didn't even know
I
you're
love
gonna
how-
learn, guys.
I love how you and Victoria, you go for like a nice little, romantic dog walk, and like make sure make sure I got my gun.
Of course.
Any man that's wearing Crocs should definitely have a gun because they underestimate him. Because they're
How
like, no dude
humiliating
in
would
Crocs
that
has a gun.
be?
You got
How
capped by a guy
humiliating
in
would that be
Crocs.
to be a criminal, and you're like, oh fuck, look at this fucking dude. I'm gonna take his wallet
In the
and he fucking
Crocs.
shoots you.
Because I'm not running, You're in the Crocs. You're
don't
not
have to.
running. that fast.
He's got no choice but to stand his ground.
Yeah.
Did you have any other options? No, I was wearing Crocs. Fucking shoot
He's
him.
like, good point. Oh, that's it. Fight or flight. Well, flight's not a goddamn option.
Yeah.
So
Cops show up and they see you in your Crocs. They're like, oh well, he needed the gun. There's no way he could have defended himself.
Yeah.
oh, that's fantastic.
No charges.
That's
No
fantastic.
charges.
Oh, by the way, I have to bring this up. Another random thing I just thought of. There was a meme yesterday that actually hurt my soul. It said,
God.
I find it funny when people hate talking on the phone so much but love podcasts. It's the same thing, but no one's recording. And I was like, oh, fuck. I just got had. Like, we do this for hours.
Yeah.
But it did say millennials, which made me feel good because I'm far too old to be that. But,
That's funny.
It
It's
is
the
what it
same
is.
thing.
it
No,
is.
it's not.
But it's not.
No. I know.
No Crocs.
Okay.
She said no. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm getting my questions loaded because I know that you.
I know
only
you got a
have
bunch
some.
of fresh ones, and I still have a bunch too. So you go ahead with the fresh one.
Yeah, I'm pulling them up right now. Ooh, that's a valid point, man. Okay, let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Smoke, no.
Oh, I got that picture.
See, all
too.
of Dusty's questions are private questions about smoking cigars and being a stud.
Right.
That's why he skipped over them. He's like, oh, I don't.
Well, there's
really
one
wanna
of
waste
these
this
that's in
one on the
another
show.
language.
Look at this. Look at this here, Ron. This was.
Oh, I do want to hit this one.
That was somebody Dusty.
There was.
Met.
Look at the
She
Crocs.
was wearing the Crocs.
She's got the Crocs on.
Oh, damn.
It's good. It's good.
She even color coordinated her Crocs with the gray shorts.
It's good. I like those Crocs. I got to get another pair now, I think. What were you saying though, Dusty? You had a.
Did you feel the silence that we both threw on you just now?
It's all right. I don't
We
care.
just
I'm
went silent.
I'm feeling that
we just
strong. You know, and I have my
Okay.
community, my Croc community, the people, some of the people
Croc
listening to the show.
our people,
You know,
our people.
I know they're standing with me on this one, so it's all right.
Listen, you Democrats do what you want.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
He's like, listen, I have a gun. Okay, I have to do this because this guy actually asked me this last time, and I didn't answer it even on the. I get a lot of questions, and I try to answer a bunch, but I keep it under 50 because actually what ends up happening is Instagram starts deleting them if you go above 50 answers.
Yeah.
The first one's gone. So anyways, the guy said, thoughts on Mutant's woke marketing, posts Pride Month, but ignores Memorial Day. The only reason I'm pointing this out real quick is because although I understand the question, it's a Canadian-based company. So if Mutant were to start hammering Memorial Day, then we got to figure out all the things that are going on in Japan and in Germany where we sell things and in England where we sell things. And I don't,
Right. The Memorial Day thing, all they have to do is just wait till November 11th in Canada, and then we get Remembrance Day, and everybody goes crazy up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what's being missed. Is I think this person doesn't realize that it is a Canadian company.
Yeah.
And actually, I brought this up to George over the weekend. And just mentioned it because I think people don't realize. And Pride is worldwide. So there's my answer to that. So I don't think it's woke marketing to say that you're down, like, because I don't consider myself woke at all, and I have many friends that are gay, and it's perfectly fine. So there's that.
Yeah.
So anywho, wanted to answer that just because I thought about it. I was like, I wonder if other people think that they think they caught something that they didn't catch.
Yeah. It would be like if you criticized a British company because he didn't put up a Memorial Day post.
4th of July or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
4th of July or whatever, it's like not their holiday, right? So
I'm more bothered that so many Americans don't understand the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day, if I'm being honest. So, but that's just me. That's a little bothersome. I'm like, well, do you know what a memorial's for? Anyways, moving on. Don't thank the guy that lives down the street on Memorial Day.
So what do you guys do? You also do something. Is November 11th? That's our Remembrance Day. What do you guys?
I don't even know when holidays fall
Right.
until they happen, to be quite honest with you. But like, for example, what I was joking about, Ron, was we have Memorial Day and we have Veterans Day. And Veterans Day is like, if you served or serve now, that's, thanks to you. And Memorial Day is talking about people who died serving.
So that's kind of your Remembrance Day then, yeah.
Yes. And geniuses in the U.S. like to go on and have their moment to post and remember to thank the veterans today. And it's Memorial Day. I'm like, you don't get it? I mean,
right.
I'm fine
So
with you thanking veterans every day, but you kind of miss the point of this day,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Anywho.
Okay.
So
I got you,
that's
Dusty.
that. Okay, let's see here. Boom. Boom, boom. Dude, there are a lot of questions on cigars.
Oh, Ron, I think your
GH.
mic went out, Ron.
My mic?
Oh, you're back.
Nope.
Never mind. You're good.
There we go.
Never mind.
I'm good.
Lying.
GH?
GH, SubQ or IM? Go.
SubQ because it's easier. I don't know.
Wrong.
And it doesn't matter. It's like use an insulin needle. It's like that long. Just stick it anywhere. Get it in your body. But yeah, I would do SubQ. There's like, I don't see any reason to make it complicated.
Are we going to Dino's in September?
Yes.
Yes, we are. That was the question. When are you and Ron coming back to Dino's? September.
Nice.
Dino's, September for the Arnold UK. We will be there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a good one for everybody. What's your favorite part of your day currently?
Oh,
After the first
it.
dog walk, but before the second dog walk.
Before she sees the Crocs. I know what he's saying. Does she forget every day? Is it amnesia? Anyways. Ron?
what if your favorite part of every day comes every second day? Because you're busy.
That's
What
amazing.
if it's every second or third day? Every second or third day, you know, when you got time. Yeah. Okay. My favorite part, I love having my coffee in the morning and just like kind of getting awake and just like petting the dog, saying good morning to the dog. You know, Emily puts my cup of coffee in front of me and gives me a little kiss on the cheek.
That's so sweet.
Morning. She's been up for a while. She's already done some cardio and, you know, she's wide awake. And I sit there and sip my coffee and sort of like let my senses adjust for a little bit. I'm one of those people.
He's coming to life.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, after I'm about halfway through my cup of coffee, I get up and make my breakfast and I enjoy my breakfast and then I get to work, you know, but I love breakfast time. I love breakfast time. Yep.
Does that make you a morning person?
That's funny because I was never a morning person, but I always loved my breakfast.
I wouldn't say that. See, but I think because Ron's, I have breakfast with Ron on the regular on trips.
Yeah.
But it's actually what he's saying is very accurate because even though he wakes up, we'll come down and when we first start eating, it's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And we're just eating, drinking coffee, and then it just slowly. And by the end, Ron and I have spent far too much time eating breakfast, and we are now late, and we need to get to the show.
Yeah.
Because the conversation started rolling about 30 minutes into breakfast instead of right at the beginning. Okay, let's see. This is terrible for it's a bodybuilding show, but in all honesty, my favorite part of the day is going to the gym. Like, unless there's something like special occurring, but I really do like that is my time. I think that's how I realized that this is really what I love doing.
Yeah.
Is I can't imagine like when people say, "Oh man, I'm like when I need a cruise, it's because my body's broke. I still want to go." And like I think there is you know, you talked about this a week or two ago, Ron, like when you love training, this is a different thing.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing that question, I like the question because it forces you to kind of like think of a time that you love. But the reality is that I spend every day trying to keep everything that I'm doing going because I really love all of it. Like I don't have really days where I do anything that the next 4 hours I have to do this.
Yeah.
I just don't really have that at all in my day. And I'm just really thankful, you know, like I'll get up in the morning and I'll drink my coffee and play some guitar for 20 minutes and then eat my breakfast and then work. But the work is cool because I'm like trying to help bodybuilders and there's a lot of, you know, there's responsibility too. So there's like, if you feel like it's important that you do a good job and that's a great feeling too. And Jordan Peterson talks about that too, shouldering responsibility and how that shouldering some responsibility and taking on responsibility is actually part of what drives happiness, you know? And so there's that. I have an element to that. And then there's people that depend on me at the gym. You know, I got two great partners that help out with a lot of stuff, but there's stuff I do too. So there's responsibility there and I enjoy that. And then I get to train. And when I'm training, I fucking just go back to bodybuilder Ron and I have fun. And then sometimes I get to ride my bike and that's super fun. And it's like, and it's enjoyable and challenges my brain and my body and all that stuff. And then, you know, I love chilling out on the couch at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night with Emily and the dog and watching an episode of whatever show we're watching and just kind of relaxing and, you know, enjoying the sun setting now at like 10 o'clock, you know, so it's like pretty cool. And then after Emily goes to bed, I chip away on the phone and sometimes I play a bit more guitar now. Like, and someone asked me, I've got several people that are like, "Oh man, how do you fit in all this stuff you're doing?" And it's easy. Cut down on the bullshit that you're doing. Like there's a bunch of
Right.
bullshit everyone does. Like you can easily subtract an hour of nonsense phone time from your day.
Yep.
Easy.
Yeah.
Every single person has an hour that they waste on their phone at least an hour. And that hour could be done riding your bike or playing your guitar. So it's not that I have all this free time. I'm really busy, but I fit it in like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, you know, an hour twice a week on my bike. You know, I just make it work. I just slot it in. And you can just easily, like, look how much screen time the average person has a day. They're wasting hours and hours and hours. Don't tell me you don't have time. Same with bodybuilding. Oh, I don't have time to prep my meals. Yeah, you do.
I used to tell like my employees that were busy or clients, if you really do think your day is completely full, all you got to do is, take out your phone, and when you wake up in the morning tomorrow at 7 a.m., record everything you do between 7 and 8, then 8 and 9, then 9 and 10 until you go to bed, and you are going to find hours.
Oh,
because people don't realize how much. And I think that, the thing I was going to add to what you said, Ron, about the screen time, because I'm not against doing anything you want. But one thing I've been working on and has really enhanced life in general is being present in everything I do. Mm-hmm. So when I'm driving my car and I'm listening to my music.
Mm-hmm.
I am not the person who gets on Instagram because the light went fucking red.
No,
like,
God.
Like, do what you're doing. It drives me crazy. It's a thing now. Every single person knows this. The light goes green, and you have to honk at the guy in front of you who's back on his phone. Because
it's crazy.
It has to. It's like a habit,
Yeah.
And I just really do think if you become very present, even when you're doing things, if you're hanging out with your kids or you're doing that, do that at 100% focus for however long you're going to do it. If you're watching a television show, watch the fucking show. That's how you enjoy things as well. And that's why you can also realize, for example, to me, if I'm watching a show and I'm tempted to start getting on my phone or doing something else, then turn the show off because I don't care about it. Go do the other thing.
There's a lot of research now about how people are frying their dopamine receptors. Just the social media, constant barrage of social media is just frying the dopamine receptors. You know what I mean? That. And that's why people are so addicted to their phone, is because it's just constant. Every time they check, oh, there's another like on my photo, another like, oh, there's another like on my photo. Someone else commented on my photo, and just a constant like dopamine rush of. That's why Twitter. That's how Twitter got so big. Like, have you seen how Twitter literally uses the same rewards as casinos? Like, you open your Twitter and there's a delay, and then you get the notification number. So you get, it's like pulling every time you open your Twitter, it's like a little roulette telling you how many oh fuck, I got 5, and you hit the little heart and you got 5 responses to your tweet. And it's the same dopamine receptors as a slot machine. And the same thing on Instagram. And we just have to remember that that's happening. And that's why I really love having hobbies. And that's what drives me to do my hobbies, is because I get to be present, completely present in the moment. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that maybe I'm seeking that out to counterbalance, all the other stuff that you have to do to make a living now, with the phones and all the stuff that's also enjoyable about social media too. But I think it's important to have some balance. Like, if you're going to be on Instagram a lot and do a lot of social media, also make sure you have something where you're off your phone. Like, I don't know. I think that's what I'm trying to seek.
You said balance, because that's why I started putting up the photo dumps a week ago. Because I had a lot of people that are like, well, it's really easy because all you do is bodybuild. I had a couple clients say that, and I was like, oh shit. Because I used my social media to only show you things that I assume you're here to watch me do.
Yeah.
And it was that's sort of like a light bulb. I was like, oh, this is all you think I do all day. Okay, that's good. And everything else that I do is by choice, and it's typically just fun. But I think it's surprising to people when they're like, oh, you because I don't even I barely think about bodybuilding now. It's all cruise control. I eat because I've been eating 6 meals a day for so long that to eat 5 or so meals a day is very easy. And I train because I like to. and there's no other thought about it. None.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take that much time. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh God, no, I spend very little time bodybuilding.
I still struggle with that, like what you say, like, oh shit, people think this is all I do. So obviously I've put like my biking and my, you know, I started putting some guitar stuff up recently, you know, because, you know, I want to maybe motivate other people to do something fun, or maybe there's people out there that fucking love the same music as me, so I can connect with them. They're like, oh fuck, Ron's into this music, and then, you know, I get to chat with them. Like, it happens like I got all these chat threads with people now that are like, well, what kind of bass is that, blah blah blah, like, you know, people, it's super fun for me, right? So there's all that stuff is cool, but I also still have a hard time with like actual real day-to-day stuff. I don't put much of that up on my social at all, because I'm just kind of essentially a private person. Like, you know, the other day I was getting on the ferry to come back.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I said, you know, normally I wouldn't post that I was on the ferry because I don't want people to know that I'm not home.
Right.
Like, you know, one of those people that I don't post that I'm leaving town because then someone will come rob my house. Like, you know, like I live in a condo now, but like, you know, back in the day when
it's not happening, but
yeah, but like back in Edmonton, I was always hesitant to post that I was leaving town.
Sure.
Right.
Like, fuck, you know, like, oh, I'm on another Mutant trip. I'm like, oh, great. Come rob my house.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'm kind of that type of person where I feel like I don't really want people to know exactly what I'm doing all the time, but yet I'm still trying to remain comfortable with, like, you know, sharing enough to like connect with people, you know? I don't know. Trying. Anyways.
I love it.
I asked you a question on there. I don't know if you saw it. See the one I asked?
I know that everyone, you know, doesn't realize this. This is actually a good thing to show, because this has only been up since this morning, and people are like, why don't you answer my questions? And
Mine'll be one of the newest ones. I asked.
There's a lot of them.
I asked while we were on.
Okay, let me look. I might have to reset. Yeah. Oh, where you go? Has Ron motivated you to think of a new hobby?
Well, I know you're already smoking cigars. I know you got this new cigar.
But I don't really count. I don't really count the. So the
have you subscribed to a cigar aficionado yet?
I surrounded myself with cigar aficionados.
There you go.
I did on it by going there.
Yeah,
and it's actually really cool because I'm so open about the fact that I'm not, and I never plan to be. Like,
that's
this
cool.
is the thing. Like, so people will ask me, like, oh, what are your 5 favorites? I'm like, I don't know. You'd have to ask Daniel or Rob, because I walk in and I go, hey, I want to do something new today. And they're like, oh, all right, get this one. I'm like, okay. And I walk back and find it, and then I bring it out, and that's what I go with, because I know what I like now as far as like the heaviness of a cigar. You know what I mean? And that's about it. So I'm like, hey, and Rob is a friend of ours that's a huge cigar guy. I mean, and he knows, he's like a Ron. Actually, he's like a Ron in all things, because he knows a ton of shit. But about the cigars, he's like, well, this is from this guy, and you can only get this if you go to an event. And it's really cool to hear the story. And I listen to it, and I enjoy it, and I forget all of it immediately. And I
they
smoke the cigar.
All hand rolled.
Dude.
Expert hand rollers that have had it passed down from generation to generation of hand rollers.
Oh, there's so many things too. Like, he's like, oh, because I told him there was a cigar I didn't like. It was the first one I did not like.
What didn't you like about it? Like, kind of like, what are like
pepper stick? I thought someone had a pepper grinder and was grinding it into my mouth.
God, it does not sound pleasant.
Yeah, it was not good. But it was funny because he goes, oh, yeah, I've heard that with those. Just hold on to it for 3 years. Like, I do not hold on to garbage for 3 years. No, this is garbage today.
Well, I thought that was maybe a feature, like guys that liked spicy cigars.
No, there definitely is a thing with that for sure. Like, I would probably never like it, but he basically was saying some cigars, for example, like right now, I guess some cigars aren't being aged quite like they used to be before they're even released. And again, I can ruin the story because I don't keep track, but there's a specific company that's very well known for a great cigar, and it was a cigar I did not like. And he was like, it probably got rushed. You probably needs time. I'm like, oh, I don't give time.
Yeah, I don't have time.
You either fucking come out and nail it for me day one, or fuck off.
I'm really bad at the waiting.
You're out. But
one of the things about being a cigar aficionado is patience. You're like,
Nah, I don't do that part.
which is why I'm not doing that shit. But actually, we're the thing that I'm working on is I'm now traveling. I've got multiple trips booked that have nothing to do with bodybuilding, just to go have fun.
Where are you going?
So,
like, what's a trip for? What do you think is a trip? Like, what's your? Some people are like all-inclusive resort. I don't want to do anything. Other people are like Airbnb downtown. Let's walk around. Like,
I Airbnb everywhere I go.
Some people are tourists. They want to see the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre and the Mona Lisa. And other people don't even care about the tourist shit.
No. So I'm going to Costa Rica.
Nice.
In November. Then I'm doing Dominican Republic in July. And all I want to do is things that people that live there do. I tend to usually bump into people and meet them and then be like, where would you go to eat because you live here? Yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm not working anything.
Okay.
But I am doing an all-inclusive resort at the first one because that's my thing. But then
I'm interested in Costa Rica.
I'm renting a mansion, and it's like $17. Like literally, when I saw the total, I was like, "How can this be $300 a day?" It's a fucking house that's loaded. I mean, I'll actually send you the picture of it. I'm like, this place is going to be fucking amazing. But I got to rent a car there because you're not like in town. You gotta go do things.
It depends what part of Costa Rica you're in. I remember I stayed at, I think it was 5 different places in a 2-week period of time, all Airbnb'd and really cool places.
When was this?
This was like 3 years ago. And I remember the first half of the trip because we were warned like, oh, Costa Rican roads are really bad. You're going to have to, be careful with that. And we got there and I was like, this is easy. This is great. This is better than Detroit. And then the second half of the trip, we went to another area and the roads were like hell. I mean, the roads were an adventure in themselves. There were areas that we had to like literally cross rivers. Like there was no bridge, but usually the water's low enough that you just drive across the river kind of stuff. The cool thing is that there's so many different climates in the country. So you could be like in rainforest and then you could be in desert and then you could be at like oceanside, tropical. But yeah, the roads are very interesting in a lot of Costa Rica. I'll tell you that much right now.
But let me tell you something that Ron knows about me, Scott.
What's that?
This is how I do everything in life. I say, "Oh, we're gonna go to Costa Rica."
Yeah.
And I say, "Okay, plan it."
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like, I
like that.
How it really came up, the truth is, it's a friend of mine, Daniel's birthday. He's going to turn 50. Fuck, he's old. And sorry to throw that on because he listens to the show. And we were discussing that we need to do something cool for his birthday.
Yeah.
And Nikki was like, "You want to go somewhere warm or cold?" And Dan was like, "Warm." And that was it. That was the input that we put into this whole situation. And now there's a place, there's flights.
Yeah.
There's, everything's done because I'm like, that's as far as I go.
Who's driving though?
Once we get there, I will because I'm psychotic.
Okay, so it was all somebody else's idea, but you're still. That does not mean that you will not have to deal. You're going to be the guy dealing.
Oh no,
with
I can handle that part. I just don't want to plan anything.
Yeah. It's an adventure. The roads are an adventure.
That's how weekends work. Let's go somewhere new. As far as I go into the process.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And then I just get told what time to be ready and what to wear, which of my fanciest jeans to put on.
Right.
That's it.
How many pairs
can
of
I
jeans
wear
do you have?
a Mutant shirt? Oh, well, now, because obviously I found my jean company, I have 9 pairs of jeans.
That's a lot of jeans. Wow.
9. And I have every color of Target shirt that's $10 that they make. I actually had somebody ask me that just yesterday. They were like, "Where do you get your shirts?" I'm like, "Target, $10." I put right in the post because I'm so proud of the fact that I wear cheap ass shit. $10.
That's funny.
I ain't buying a $50 fucking shirt.
You wear some cheap ass shit. You wear some cheap.
But that's the thing.
And then you wear like a stupid watch.
But that's the thing. It's like the steak with the mac and cheese, right? I'm still white trash.
It's Dusty. I'm still white trash,
have
but I
some
got
money.
a nice watch. Right. They should have never given you people money.
Exactly. That's what we do with it. Oh, that's flawless. It's a fact. You're not wrong. So yes, that's the thing I'm working on now, Ron, is I'm going to actually do things. And even when we go places, sometimes I might stay behind a few days. Like if you go to England, I might be like, yeah, I'm going to stay for a week.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that.
Because
That's what Emily and I did when we went to Australia last time for the Arnold. We stayed for another week, and we went up to the Gold Coast and hung out, and I showed her where I used to live and all that stuff. It was really cool. Good times.
I got a great question for both of you, but I want story with it. The question is, what was the first bodybuilding VHS you owned?
Oh,
this is fantastic.
So mine would be the 1989 Olympia.
Damn, he's way before me.
Yeah, because I remember when I first started training in 1990 and 91, you know, that first year in the gym, some of the older guys at the gym were like, hey, watch this. And I remember having the 88 and 89 Olympia on, they lent the tapes to me, and then I had 2 VCRs, so I dubbed them.
Yes.
The old days where you dub a tape.
Yep.
Yeah, old school. So I dubbed the 88 and 89 Olympias onto one big long tape, and I had them both on one tape, and that would have been the first VHS bodybuilding tape that I had. And then the first training video that I would have owned would have been I think it was Sean Ray's first video.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was called though. It might have been called Back to Basics or something. I can't remember what his first
that's
video
Dennis
was.
James.
That's Dennis James, Back to Basics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember like clearly getting Blood and Guts in 97 because it arrived in the mail. I remember I started my diet the first week of January in 1997, and Blood and Guts arrived on the day I started my diet. It came in the mail. I remember I was like,
this is every fucking day.
Every fucking day. Yeah. Yep. And I remember I was amazed at how identical the workouts were. I was like, this is exactly how I'm training. I've read everything and I understood what he meant because I'm training exactly like this. Almost identical workout too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I remember that. What about you, Scott?
Well, I feel like mine is probably one that a lot of people had, which was Pumping Iron. Was the first VHS.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah.
You know, and that wasn't necessarily given to me. It was my dad's. It was and it was my dad's because his friend left it at the house. It just kind of like ended up in our collection. But I remember watching that because my dad's friend had brought it over. And at the time, we were like the only people in his friend group that had a VCR. It was like early days. I was a little kid. Like I wasn't old enough to train yet, but I then inherited that tape. And I remember watching it with my dad and all of his buddies. And they were all, some of them were power lifters. Some of them were bodybuilders. And they all trained at the same gym, the Wayne Rec Center. And Lauren was like the guy who brought the tape over. He was like a Persian Arnold. Like he had his hair cut like Arnold did in the movie. And he'd wear like the polyester tight pants like that Arnold would wear. And like with a tank top and his lats flared out. And he'd be like walking around in sandals or bare feet all the time. That was Lauren. And he was also the guy that got the gear for my dad's buddies. And then there were guys like Gilbert, who was a power lifter and a biker and worked like he did roofing, and the dude was really strong. And another guy, Mike Knight, who was a power lifter and a biker and a former like a Vietnam vet, which wasn't that long ago in the early 80s. You know what I mean? So he was like still in his 30s, 40s, early 40s, something. And they were just like really strong dudes that were like hanging out, you know, motorcycles, a lot of grease, a lot of like nobody had like Gymshark clothes back then. It was all just grubby people looking. You know what I mean? It's just like you sweat a lot in the early '80s training. And you know, they all hung out and watched Pumping Iron in the living room, and then that tape became mine.
That's funny.
That is amazing.
was
I also
good
like that
times.
you remember every single person's name.
Oh yeah, there was this guy, John
Ronism.
Schmieder. John Schmieder, who was my dad's buddy, and he did get like pretty good into bodybuilding, and he dressed up like the Incredible Hulk one time, and came over to the house to surprise me, all green, and like jacked, and with his shirt off, and like all the kids in the neighborhood were like, "Holy shit, the Incredible Hulk's at Scott's house!" It was the coolest thing ever. It was cool.
He was ahead of his time. That's
Yeah,
funny.
It was fun.
You've had bodybuilding in your life, like in a way that Ron and I didn't. Like you had someone in your life that was also into it.
Yeah, my parents were both they both lifted, and I went to the gym with them, and they had like a daycare thing that wasn't always open. So I would sit like with my dad. My dad wasn't a big guy, but he trained with all these guys, and I would sit over to the side in the gym, and I just had like a coloring book with me, and I'd see all these guys lifting, and I just remember the chalk, you know, that the big old school chalk bin that they all used, and just the sound and the feel of the weights, boom, you know, slamming down. It was so I kind of did grow up around it, and then I got involved really early. But then I switched gears, and like I went into art and stuff, and I did that up until I got clean, and then I switched gears. I was like, you know what happened? I was like, you know what? I had so much fun as a kid lifting. I wonder what would have happened had I chosen that instead. And I was like, you know what? I'm not too old. I'm gonna explore that, and here I am today.
That's awesome. I think your mom was the one that was really ahead of her time. Though your mom was lifting in the 80s.
Yeah, she was good. Like she looked good too. Lauren was always wanting her to compete, and she didn't want it, but she was jacked. She had some good muscle on her.
That's cool. Just because I I don't think in the 80s that was like, like now, like no one blinks that more than half the gym are women.
Yeah, just true.
You know, back then, it must have been her and like 4 of her friends.
There were other girls that lifted, but there were a lot more girls that did jazzercise. The jazzercise thing was real popular back then.
That's freaking wild. So I didn't have a single one, and the reason is because I found out about the bodybuilding VHSs when I started working at House of Fitness, and they used to have them playing in the store. So I actually bought all of them with my first check.
Yeah?
Every single one that they had.
Huh.
So I had literally all the way from Blood and Guts. I had all of the, so I guess it would have been up to 2000 Battle for the Olympias. Then I had the early Jay Cutler. I had the Kevin Levrone, that was it M3 or whatever it was called, or can't remember.
Maryland Muscle Machine. Yeah, it was M3.
Yep. Had that one. I had the Lee Priest ones. I had Nasser on the way. So I had a ton that I got them all at once. And I used to literally be at the store all day long, watching them all day, every day. One would run out. I would just take it out, put a different one in. Because that was how we sold them back then too, was by having them playing.
Yeah.
You know? And I used to always laugh because remember when Ronnie's video, when his Unbelievable came out, I used to laugh at the impeccable timing of that show, of that episode, because there's a part where I think he's training back, and they got the rap music blaring, and it never failed. There's a little silence, and then the rap music, and the guy goes biatch all loud, and it always happened when they're like, there's a little old lady in the store. I'm like, no.
That's pretty funny.
And it never failed, but I love those things, man. I would actually love to have, when they all came back out on DVD. I repurchased all of them because I didn't have obviously a VHS player, and now I don't have a DVD player. So here we are. Now I have nothing. Sad day. My mom, I was unpacking her when she moved here, and I was like, why in the hell did you guys bring all these DVDs? You don't even have a DVD player. Yeah. And she goes, yeah, we do. I'm like, why do you have a DVD player? She goes, well, we have all these DVDs. I'm like, all right, you got me.
Yeah, I've been defeated.
I was so confused. Like 2 boxes of DVDs. I'm like, you can just watch those on TV for free now, right? Anyways, Do your thing. Carry on boxes of bullshit. All right.
I know.
That was a
I
solid
know.
one.
I found a bunch of VHS tapes when I was like purging the condo a little bit, and I'm like, fuck, some of them aren't labeled, so I know they're probably my competitions or something.
Or porn.
Right.
So yeah, or porn. I used to
For
label
sure.
my porn, Scott. I labeled it. I used to label it. I would label it like stuff that no one would want to watch.
Yeah. Did you really?
Like I would label it like freestyle BMX.
Yeah.
And no one's watching that.
XXX.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The tricks when you're a kid who lives at home, like WWF.
I have a VHS you would enjoy, Ron. It's called 1991, The Year Punk Broke. And it followed Sonic Youth on their European tour. And Nirvana was there for part of it. While they were on their tour, they opened up for Sonic Youth.
Yes, they opened for Sonic Youth on that. That was before Nevermind came out.
It was, and it was like as it was coming out. So they like left for that record. They left and it was nothing. And when they came back, they were huge.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. I'd like to see that. I've never seen that movie.
It's good. It's very silly because Sonic Youth, the Thurston Moore and all, and Kim Deal, they were very punk. Like don't give a fuck, but just don't. They didn't care what people thought about.
Don't take things seriously. No.
Yeah.
No. I saw Sonic Youth.
Did you really?
They were great.
Yeah,
they were great. Super fun show to see. Yeah,
I bet. There's a part where Kurt shakes up a champagne bottle and chucks it up against a wall too. That was kind of epic.
Yeah, they were punks, man. They were punks, punk rock.
Legit ones. Let's see. This is a good one. Any grossed post-show weight gain stories before getting your shit together?
Yeah, I do. My third show, I had the worst rebound ever. Okay, so I'd competed twice already, and I had like a rebound both times because it was the 90s and we were dumb. We'd go out and eat pizza like 3 days in a row after the show, and you'd get like a water rebound. Whoops, I just unplugged my mic. Give me a second. Sorry about that, Jed. Dog causing havoc. I got my mic back?
Nope.
Okay. Am I good to go?
Yes.
Yes.
Check.
It might. It'll take a second. Yeah.
So the third show I did was the Albertas. It's the one I talked about when I did it on Super Budget, and I won the overall. And I was 244. And in 5 days, I gained 50 pounds.
Wow.
I was 294 5 days after the show. And obviously I didn't want that to happen, but I was eating like crazy because I was like, I'm going to catch the rebound. So I was eating like fucking crazy. And then I just, the first 2 days you gain 10 pounds. You're like, okay, I can just keep eating like this. And then day 3, just the floodgates, and you're like put on 10 pounds in one day. And now you're up 30 pounds. And you're like, oh shit. And they're like, well, this can't go on forever. So you do it for 2 more days. The next thing you know, you're at 50 fucking pounds. And I went to the doctor and I was like, hey, and I showed him a picture. And I was like, I was 244 5 days ago and I'm 294 today. I've gained 50 pounds of water. And he goes, no, you haven't. And I'm like, yep. And he's like, no, that's impossible. You'd be dead. You'd be dead. You'd have a heart attack or your kidneys would fail. And I'm like, well, I'm sitting in front of you breathing and I'm 50 pounds heavier than 5 days ago. So I just thought I'd let you know. And then I explained to him, I'm like, was on super low carbs. So I'm probably insulin hypersensitive. And then I've been eating like a pig and all the salt. And I did the whole prep on low sodium because it was the 90s. So salt low. So you're super sodium sensitive and just all the worst things. And I used aldactone as a diuretic. So now your aldactone, your aldosterone levels are fucked up. So it's the worst possible scenario for water gain. And I explained this all to him and he just stood there dumbfounded. And he was like, wow. And he's like, so what do you want? And I go, well, I need a prescription for Lasix. And I think if I take a Lasix a day for 10 days and clean up my food, I can calm things down and get things leveled out. And he's like, and he literally wrote me a prescription for Lasix because you don't want to take aldactone and you're just back onto the same fucking problem.
Yeah.
Can't get off of it. So I took a Lasix a day and I remember it was like 2 weeks later, I was like 275.
Right.
So I'd kind of like, and at 275, I looked okay. You know what I mean? Now I'm only
Yeah.
30 pounds over stage, and you're like, and I remember my ankles went down.
Yeah.
And then I went to that doctor a few months later again, and he was like, "Hey, what happened there?" And I told him, and I was like, he was just amazed.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I was." And he's like, "You're lucky you didn't have a fucking heart attack." You know, because I could have.
Oh, for sure.
I got to plug in here.
You know what I noticed is that his camera gets fuzzy as he needs to plug in, and watch, once he gets plugged in, it's going to clear up. It's going to look better.
Or worse, depending on what you're looking at.
That's true.
Jay will look better in the background. Ron will look worse.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Not a lot to help there, right?
No, it's like me. It's why I cover up with the beard. It's wait. Is
Watch,
it
just
coincidence? He's still a little blurry.
Give it a minute. Just watch. Oh, he's not plugged in yet either, though. See, he just got the cord.
Wait. Here we go.
Okay, give it a minute. Watch. Okay.
Watching.
It'll
waiting,
take a minute.
Judging. Look at the baby.
It'll take a minute.
No.
Hey,
What about the baby?
I was just senseless rambling there at the end. But Scott has a theory, but I'm not seeing it come through right now, Scott.
I'm not either yet. Give it time. Let's see what happens.
They said that with Shitty Movie once, and I watched the whole thing, and it was terrible.
What's the theory?
Wait. Oh, you're right. Scott, you're right.
It's starting. Wait,
It's definitely better.
when your battery runs low, you start getting fuzzier. And I was like, oh, we need to reconnect, I think, pretty soon here. Yep, your mic's in.
Yeah,
and then every time you've said, hey, I got to plug in, then I'm like, oh, then you plug in and it gets clear. Yep, you look good now. Look at that.
Yeah, you're back.
There you go.
You're back.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Here we are. I forgot what we were talking about, but we're back.
Gaining weight.
Yes.
Gaining water.
The gate. Yes. So I did the same thing. It was my first show, actually. But the key was much different than Ron. It had nothing to do with the discipline of trying to be a better bodybuilder. I just ate like a complete moron from Saturday. So Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday. And I didn't even know enough. I didn't know enough about bodybuilding to even realize how much trouble I was in. But my kidneys were hurting.
Ooh.
And I was literally, so I had a store, I had a high countertop where you'd come in, and I would lean over it until customers would leave, and then I would go lay on this box we had in the back. And I was just like, this is not good. I don't know what's happening. And it wasn't 50 pounds. It was, I'm going to say only, but it was like 30 something in two days and a few hours. And I actually told myself, much like Ron, only in a much more stupid way, I said, if this pain doesn't stop, I guess I'll go to the hospital tomorrow. Because I didn't have, at that point in time, it's funny because I was so new to bodybuilding. I didn't even know I was in danger. Like, I was just like, this hurts.
Yeah.
And I knew it was my kidney, but I didn't know why. And I didn't use diuretics for the show. But I did pull the water completely because that's all I knew back then.
For probably 27 hours.
The saving grace was that the only thing I realized, besides the fact that I wasn't eating, is that the only thing I was drinking was like Coke. And I was like, I should probably drink water. So I stopped eating like an asshole and started drinking a bunch of water. And thankfully, my kidneys didn't fall out of my body. But yeah, that was it. But it was funny. Like in hindsight, once you realize, I was like, oh, I was like completely fucked. And didn't know how much trouble I was actually in.
Yeah. I remember after my very first show, I used too much diuretic my first show. Looking back on it, I was a little bit of a cowboy. And I remember sitting at the restaurant after the show and I was drinking and eating.
Yeah.
And I had like these intense cramps that would just flash through my body and like hit and then release.
Yeah.
And then I had like crazy leg cramps at the table a few times and I had to stand up. And I was so busy eating, but I didn't realize what I should have been doing is rehydrating. So I remember like halfway through dinner, I thought, fuck, I should be drinking instead of eating. Like I started to realize that I was like not healthy because all this weird shit was happening to me. And I was a little bit like So I stopped eating and I started like drinking and drinking and drinking. And I was like, fuck, I hope I don't have to go to the hospital. I hope I don't have to go to the hospital. Cause I was like starting to get a little bit worried because I had these really fucking weird cramps happening. And I knew that was a bad sign. And then by the time we left the restaurant, I was like, fuck, I think they've stopped. And then the next day, oh my God, I was so sore from the cramping. Because I was having these hard cramps at the restaurant, like my hamstring and my calf kept going. And the next day, everything that was cramping at the restaurant was like 11 out of 10 DOMs.
Yeah.
I could barely walk. I was leaving the hotel. I was like, oh, like in pain. It was really rough.
I did that for all my first shows, like the first few, like just really hammered.
All of my first shows.
For all my shows.
First few years, yeah.
I also remember the most pain I was ever in from eating. And it was actually after my second show, which I wasn't shredded for, but we went to Pizza Hut. And I remember I ate an entire large pizza, Meat Lover's Pizza, and I drank a liter of chocolate milk.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm just mad about the combination more than anything. Chocolate milk and pizza?
A liter?
I remember drinking a liter of chocolate milk with an entire large pizza. And then by the time we got out of the restaurant, I couldn't get in the front seat of the car because I couldn't bend at the waist. I was in so much pain. My guts were just fucking killing me. Like I wasn't farting or gonna shit myself or anything yet. It was like upper abdominal. Like it was painful pressure, and I couldn't bend at the waist to get in the front seat. So I had to lay in the back seat of the car. I laid down on the seat. I was like, oh, and I was in like the fetal position. And we went back to the hotel because we were out of town. And I remember I needed help getting out of the car. And then I just laid in bed and my stomach was just like, felt like two cats were fighting in my guts for like hours and hours. And then I was just wrecked. I remember just destroying that hotel room, just destroying it. Yeah, I didn't get much. I remember the next morning, the guys were like, you didn't get much sleep because my buddies went with me. And I was like, I was up all night just shitting my fucking brains out.
Oh, God.
It was brutal. That was the worst night ever after a show. No fun at all.
Shoot. My second contest, I referred to after the second show. My girlfriend had done a show 2 weeks before me. I competed. Then we went for like a 4-day weekend up north to Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes to walk around, take a little vacation. And I now refer to that as the Great Eatcation because I went up there in good shape. In fact, I have the pictures. These were contest pictures, 172, right here. So I was in.
Look at you.
I was in.
Fucking slice.
It was pretty.
Look at the calves.
Yeah,
look at the fucking huge calves.
I still had the calves, already. And then after the Great Eatcation, I had to be like 210, 220. I can't remember exactly.
Where's those pictures?
Of course, I didn't take them. Right, there was no pictures for like 4 months. Great. But like when you're that size and you put on that much weight, like you don't even look like you lift anymore.
Percentages of 40 pounds from 170 is a different thing.
I just remember being at the sand dunes because we went out for breakfast. There was a great waffle place, with pancakes and stuff. And then we would go to the grocery store and buy all the things we hadn't bought, for months. And then we'd go out to eat for dinner and we didn't have any planned food with us. And I remember like the second or third day, we were trying to walk up the sand dunes. I was like, I can't make it. My back, my legs, they're just so pumped with so much water in them. Like I couldn't walk.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I tell clients about that story to tell them, like first time clients, like, listen, don't do what I did on the Great Eatcation.
Yeah, no, I just did that with a first timer, but just barely. I tell them how much they can eat.
Yeah.
Because you don't, forget about the danger, but the other thing is you don't want to look like on Monday you didn't just compete.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing I remember is once I was okay, I remember just looking in the mirror and I was like, so I dieted for 12 weeks to look like X. And now I look worse than I did when I started the diet, like 4 days later.
Yeah.
That hurt my soul a little bit where it goes at least. So yeah, not good. Harvey, I know. My dogs realize that we're late. It's the wildest thing. They start talking to me. They're like, "Hey, enough with them.
This is a long show.
It's our time.
A long couple shows.
We did.
That's okay. We're doing our thing.
I have to tell them that. That's what I said. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. You got a big one to go out on, Ron.
I have a couple screenshot ones that I liked.
Yeah.
Where is this one, guys? Sometimes when they DM you the question, so you take a screenshot.
I don't actually answer DMs
You know what I mean?
anymore.
Yeah, I know. So here's one for you. Actually, I got a few. This guy has some good questions.
Shoot.
Would you rather go back in time 10 years to fix a key event or decision that you made, or be able to see 5 years in the future so you know what to change?
Or for sure.
See into the future.
Yes. Because I mean it's cheesy but accurate. I wouldn't want to change anything because of where I am. So
right, you'd be afraid it would fuck everything up.
Yeah, like it's like those movies where they point out, well, if like Back to the Future, I thought that was a great piece where anything he did could change everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's key because, for example, you go back and change something in the past, the next thing you know, it puts you on a street that gets you in a car accident, you're dead, and you don't even make it to this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or something else.
I know.
Every little thing that happens, I'm one of those, I don't want to call it a believer. I think it's a fact that
it's a butterfly effect.
Yeah, exactly. But into the future, I will say the only thing I would want to see are things that are financial, because I would be afraid again. Like, I don't want to know.
Right.
Let's say you found out that someone important would be gone or something like that, and then you're waiting for that to happen because you can't maybe necessarily change it.
Even just a screenshot of your bank account.
Well, I would need to know why it was that way, just because like I actively am.
Yeah, it might be empty because you
to
just
make
bought
it go
your 10th
up.
house.
You know what I mean? But it's like,
right?
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
I
empty.
would
Well, you just bought your 10th house.
Well, there are things though, because for example, like like interest rates are changing right now. So the house I'm building, I'm going to be forced to pay more than I want to in interest, which is fine once it changes and I refi. But it's like, those are interesting things. It would be nice to know, like, for example, right now, a question I get asked regularly, which I don't know why people think I'm an expert, because I'm not, but like, should I buy a house now or should I wait? And I'm like, well, I don't actually know the answer to that, but here's what people who know more than me suggested to me.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's another factor. Well, if you don't have any houses, I'd probably still, like, right now would almost be perfect because it's no longer a seller's market either, even though people think it is. It's not. Right. So you've got some power now. If you're getting your house, I definitely don't suggest sitting around and renting longer. But those would be things I'd love to know. Like, what happens between now and 5 years from now in the market, and when? Okay, thank you. I have everything I need.
That'd be good.
That'd be great. Just what's crypto look like in 5 years?
Well, imagine back in 2008 if you would have known about the market crash and realized you could short the housing.
Well, I remember I remember in late 2007. I had my townhouse in Edmonton. I had it appraised because I was getting a line of credit.
Yeah.
And they appraised it like it was peak market.
Yeah.
Like, I remember they appraised it and I was like, what the fuck? There's no way my house is worth that. Yeah. But it was awesome for me because I was trying to get a line of credit.
Yeah.
So the bank just threw this giant line of credit at me because they're like, oh, you have so much equity in your home. And then, like, within a few months, the market just to complete shit. And I was like, fuck, I wish I would have sold my place. But you just, because sold and rebought real quick. It's one thing to sell,
rent for 6 months and then buy.
Not even 6 months, like 2 months. Like it would have been
Go back and buy your own
amazing.
house back.
Go back and buy your own house. Like just, it would have been so funny, right? Because that's what it is. Like, do you get out of the market to wait for it to go back down? But then are you out of the market for 5 years, or are you only out of the market for 5 months?
You know what's crazy too with that, Ron, is when that all went down, my mom had just bought her house at the peak, and it was on an arm. So when the arm ran out, for her to be able to afford the house she was already in, we needed to put more money down. And any other person, I would have been like, the market's fucked. Let the house go. Who cares? Let your credit take a hit. You'll get another one in a few years. It's fine. Well, at my mother's age, I was like, this is probably your last house. All right, fuck it. We sold some motorcycles that we had, put the money down so she could afford to stay in the house. And I literally said to myself, that house will never be worth what you paid for it. And that's okay, because you're going to die there.
Right.
Then you fast forward to now, and
you sold it for like
sold
200
for
grand
hundreds of thousands more than we should have never bought it for that day. So it's one of those things where it's like, that's why it would be nice to know. Because I literally was saying to myself, anyone else on the planet, this is a bad decision. You know, because people are emotional with their house, or with like, no, I said to the bank that I would pay this and I should. Well, the bank would fuck you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So don't even blink. If it's a bad move to stake the house, let it roll. You know, fuck it. You know, they'll loan you money again when they forgive in 3 years when you fixed your credit. So don't worry about it. But yeah, that was the only reason we kept it. Now I'm laughing because I'm like, geez, I'm glad I didn't make that as an expert statement, because I was wrong by a couple $100 grand.
Right.
Like, so wild.
Okay.
What about you? You didn't answer your own question. I mean, I'm assuming you agree, but
Oh, I agree completely. I wouldn't change anything about the past. I've watched too many science fiction shows.
What about the
Changing
same
the
though?
past.
Go back 10 years, learn about Bitcoin, put your money in that instead. Just learn about, it could be even better. Listen, we know what happened. Here 5 years in the future, we could learn what happened, and then you could play off of that. 10 years ago, tell yourself about Bitcoin.
Oh,
But what about this though? This is the reason I work it the other way, Scott.
Yeah.
Is because what if, like, Emily, now this is a great one because Ron will understand why it's funny, because she's not this way, became this entitled bitch because Ron got rich and like got her fancy shit and all this stuff. And in the back of his head, he knows that she was a gold mine perfection in what would have been the 5 years.
Yeah.
And now he's fucked it up, or 10 years.
Yeah.
And now he's ruined that
But then you're going to
situation.
change it in 5 years anyway.
But I won't know.
Actually,
I won't know if
here's
he
the
becomes
problem.
a bitch in 10
Here's
years
the problem.
from now.
10 years ago,
But see,
10 years ago, I was still in my
forward.
30s. 10 years ago, I was
Right.
still in my 30s. If you would have given me like, $20 million at that age, I would have probably ruined my life. Now that I'm
A lot
over
of blowing
40,
hookers.
I'm
There you
much
go.
more
Yeah.
not quite. Just bad decisions.
Oh god, that's good stuff.
Okay, here's one for you. What's the most awkward moment you've ever had with someone in the gym? Have you ever had a confrontation or a fight, or has anything ever happened like that? What's the most awkward gym confrontation you've had?
Oh, I have one that's fantastic. It wasn't awkward for me, but it was funny. So when I was in high school and we were just starting to go to the gym, we were doing the Bigger, Faster, Stronger program, so it's like 5 sets of 5 or whatever. But we were young and so it was me and 2 buddies. And we had just finished, me and Jeremy had just finished our last set of this thing. And our other buddy had one left. And this old lady walked up, not like an older lady, like an old lady. And she goes, "How many sets do you have left?" And he had just finished a set, And he goes, "1." And without blinking, she goes, "Well, are you going to do it?" And he froze and didn't know what to do, and immediately laid down and did his set. So it was like he didn't know what to do. And I just remember laughing my ass off because I'm like, oh, wow. Because he didn't want to be, it was just a classic moment of like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do what the old lady told me to do. And he just immediately leaned back and went after his set.
Did he get
And
more
we gave him
reps?
Oh, of course not. And we gave him shit for like years. I'm like, you got fucking told by like a 75-year-old woman to do your fucking set now, bitch. Like,
That's pretty funny.
I
Hey, fair
that
enough.
was-
You don't have much time to wait.
it was just amazing though, because like that's how people are. Because in the flip, this is what makes it a full circle thing. The other day we're in the gym, and I overhear a guy yell at the trainer next to me. This old guy, like he literally like, get that shit away from me. And I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? And this old guy was angry, like you could see the rest were like angry, like he looked like he wanted to fight for real. And finally, we go over to the trainer. I'm like, what the fuck did you do? He goes, I asked him how many sets he had left. And I go, okay. And I go, why was that problem? He goes, well, he said 16 and I laughed. He said, I have 16 sets left. I was like, so he goes, I laughed at him on accident and he lost it. I was like,
That's funny.
He did say 16 sets. I mean,
That's funny that I had that happen to me once. I remember there was a press down I wanted to use.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always that one stack that you like for press downs.
Yeah.
You know, and I went over to this guy and there was this like weird guy on it. And I go, hey, how many sets you got left? And he looks me dead in the eye and he goes, 12.
12.
And I'm like,
it's a lot of sets.
okay, are you being a fucking asshole to me right now? I'm not quite sure, but fair enough.
Or you just don't know how to lift.
I asked you a question and you said 12. So there's plenty of pulleys.
Yeah.
I'll just go do my press downs on another pulley. He wasn't mean to me. He just looked at me and goes, 12. And I'm like, okay.
but you were confused because your brain didn't understand what was happening.
So I go over and I'm doing my press downs and I'm watching him. I kind of watch him.
Yeah.
That motherfucker did 12 more sets.
Holy shit.
He was on that thing for 12 more sets. Like he wasn't being a dick, like, fuck off, I got 12. Like he wasn't like that. He was like, I have 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know what the fuck program he was on, but he did like 12 things on that pulley, all the same, over and over and over and over. It was just funny. You know, you think they're being an asshole, but they're just 12. I have 12. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a guy today that said 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Which
As
is
many
fine.
sets as
And
it takes.
he was supersetting a hammer shoulder press with a rope tricep extension.
Wow.
Right. Terrible for pressing strength.
Literally, I was like, so I told Nikki, I go, he's got 5 more minutes left. She goes, you said minutes? I'm like, yeah. I go, it's fine. It gives me time. We sat there and waited for him 5 minutes.
I haven't really had any, like, I'm just trying to think. I don't really remember having like a bad gym confrontation or anything like that. You know what I mean?
No.
Like I don't really remember anything really bad happening like that. I remember a couple of times when I thought there was going to be a fight in the gym.
Yeah.
And this was back in Edmonton. There was a couple of times where I thought there was going to be a fight in the gym because I saw other people like gravitating towards an area, you know, when you can tell when something's going on. And I remember, that was my home gym. I trained there every day. I knew everybody there. So I remember I was like, oh, I better go have a look, you know, and I went over and I'm like, oh, these two guys are arguing, like, and you're wondering if something's going to pop off. I saw a guy throw a 45-pound plate at another dude before. I told that story. I've told that story before. Yeah.
That's like attempted murder.
Yeah. It was like this gangster guy, and the guy like jumped us to the side, and like the plate kind of deflected the plate off his arm kind of, but then there was a bench, like a flat bench. So both his feet got taken out by the flat bench as he jumped to the side. Yeah. So he just went whoof, like fucking over on his side of his head and stuff. He really took a fall. But yeah, that's the only thing. But I've never had anything like confrontational. That's why when people don't get along in the gym, I'm like, Jesus, I've been in the gym for 33 years. I haven't really had any.
I've seen a lot of that.
It's not that hard to get along with people.
I've seen a lot.
Can you just get along?
So much. We had this guy who was not like everybody else. He would be doing weird shit in the gym. And he was one of those people that had some very good genetic strength. Very well built, yet I never saw him do any like actual bodybuilding movements. And he would do stuff like take 2 dumbbells and put them on the mats and then do like a handstand on them and then do like an inverted press while he's upside down. And he'd do like 5 of those reps, and then he'd like walk around, and he had like outfits that would all match. Like he'd have a green hat with a green shirt and like green shorts and green shoes that day. And the next day it'd be like a camo hat with a camo shirt and camo pants. And it just like, kind of a weird dude. Like you could tell like something's a little off with him. And then one day there was this kid, Tim, who was he was Classic Physique. So this wasn't like that long ago. Classic was around, and they got into it, and the guy just turned on him and just decked him out cold, broke his orbital socket. It was a mess. Of course, yeah, it was like there's so many stories, so many weird people at the gym. I told another guy off. This old dude, he came up to me one day and he kind of looked like Fat Rambo, and he had like kind of like mullet. Would wear the headband like Rambo, and he'd have this
Rambo. That's like a character. Rambo. That could be like a character in like that could be like a reoccurring character. Fat Rambo,
and he's got like this tank top on with like really big pecs, but a lot of fat too, and just kind of standing like this all the time, so the pecs are always out. And he was like, "Hey, watch this," and he walks over to this skinny little Asian guy and he goes, "How many more sets you got?" And the guy's like, one more. And he'd be like, well, I'm going to work in with you. And then he'd just like bully this guy around and like kick him off the machine. So I remember, I can't remember the story. I can't really retell it well. So, but I did like get back at him. Like he did it to one of my clients, and I just belittled him in the middle of the gym and made him feel like shit. And just, because he just wanted to like impress me at the time, you know, with like, watch me bully this guy around. And he tried to do it to people I knew. And I was like, no, dude, you're a piece of shit. Get out of here. You know, he's going to do as long as he wants on this machine. Get the fuck out, you know?
Yeah. Fat Rambo.
It was Fat Rambo.
I think that this is the name of today's show is Fat Rambo. It's absolutely the name of the show. It has to.
And then the funny thing is, they'll have to watch right to the end to even get to the Fat Rambo part.
Yeah, they won't even know.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you met Fat Rambo? Something like that. I don't know.
If you went to Powerhouse Nova,
every gym's got that you know, a couple old guys that are kind of maybe stuck in the 80s, and maybe they kind of do look like Fat Rambo. Maybe they wear a headband made out of a sweatshirt. Waistband, the Jay Cutler style. I used to do that. You know, I remember there was like this one dude at the gym I used to train at. He would always put the head harness on.
Oh yeah, there's that guy.
Plates off the neck chain. He was, he's got to train his neck. It's like, dude, you're almost 60. Your cervical spine's had enough. Yeah, like just do like weight of your head. Like just keep it moving is good, but let's take the 3 plates off the chain. Like maybe put I don't know. How much do you have to train your cervical spine when you're 60? I don't know.
Yeah, you should be fine.
I've seen guys that work out wearing,
maybe I'm being judgy.
Wearing work gloves, like heavy leather work gloves.
Yeah, that's awesome too. I've seen that. That's something I used to see in the old days where you'd see the one guy would have work gloves on.
Another guy with like blackout sunglasses, just blacked out sunglasses every day.
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah.
There was a guy in the gym today in khakis and like a regular belt with a tucked in polo shirt on.
Yeah.
And I I had to hit it. I immediately, like a dad joke hit me so fast. I looked at Nikki, I go, he's here for business. And she just looked at me and goes, you're an idiot.
Yeah. See, that's one thing I couldn't do. I was at a point where I could wear cargo shorts to the gym. Like, remember the Gasp camo cargo shorts that were down to the knee? And
oh, yeah. You could do that.
So I got to a point where I could wear those to the gym for arm day.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'd train
not
arms
for legs or something.
No, but I couldn't. No, because I'm wearing a normal belt. Like I had to wear a belt with them, right?
Yeah.
I can't. You can't train in those. That's for arm day. You're okay because you got to wear a cool shirt that looks. You're training. Got a nice big T-shirt on, but for something else, you're basically wearing street clothes in the gym.
Yeah.
It bothers me. You know,
I'm annoyed by that, and a lot of my friends break my own mental rules, like with flip flops in the gym.
Hey, my training partner shows up with moccasins on half the fucking time.
Does he really?
Yeah.
One of our closest friends wears Crocs, so what are we going to do? You know,
I don't wear Crocs in the gym. I don't feel good about that. I had a client came over the other day. He was looking for a vehicle, and he was going to be in town. He lives like an hour away. Hamza, shout out to Hamza. And he came in and he was wearing khaki shorts, like the cargo shorts, and he had like this.
Oh, I saw that. I saw him wearing.
Yeah, he had like a
shoes.
pink t-shirt on, like kind of like a nice dressier t-shirt. Plus, it's a good look. I can't do the pink t-shirt. It doesn't look right with my skin tone. Dusty, you do the pink shirt. That works.
You're
for
too
you.
pink anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
matches
It
your
just
face.
doesn't look
Yeah.
right. And he had on like flip-flops. But it was like
I saw that.
we were doing arms. So I was like, okay. But when the first thing I asked him when he walked in, he didn't have any like a bag with him or anything. I was like, you need to get it changed or anything? He's like, no.
Yeah, those guys, I don't get those guys. I'm here to train. I just came in my normal street clothes.
But you know what? We were just doing arms, so it's like I get it.
I know. I still got to carry a bag just to feel like I'm going to the gym. I have to call these people out, Scott.
Yeah.
Anyone who's wearing flip flops or sandals to the gym, I don't know what world you live in. I don't. I know we've had JP on the show, but JP he lives in his own world. We already know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
For
he has
sure.
his own private gym.
Hamza's
right?
from Morocco, so there is that, you know.
There's a cult. I guess there's a
don't even know what
cultural
that
thing
means.
to be taken into consideration.
People from Morocco, you know, they
well,
just
it's
like
North Africa.
they're
you
like
know?
good with sandals. They're like it's just a
Yeah,
chill
maybe
thing.
they're just
you know?
more sandals in their blood. I don't know, but
Just
you
chill,
see the
you know?
guys that, bodybuilders that come into the gym wearing sandals and flip flops, and they're training shoulders.
Yeah, like I wear
They're doing dumbbell
slides
shoulder
everywhere.
press, pressing the
Everywhere.
120s.
But I would never train in them. Nothing
With sandals
I wouldn't go to do triceps in sandals. No way.
One thing I hate is I don't want to have a gym where there's a bunch of rules, because I hate rules. Like I don't want to have a bunch of rules. I'm an all freedom guy, so I don't want to have a bunch of rules. But I'm just worried you're gonna fucking cut a toe
Drop a
off.
plate?
Like you're this
Yeah.
close to cutting the fucking toe off, man. Just wear some shoes. At least keep your severed toes in your shoe
In a
after the weight
pouch.
hits.
Yeah,
In a pouch,
all
a
together.
carrying pouch for your broken foot after you drop a weight on it. Because if you drop something on that foot, it's going all over my other dumbbells, and then
Yeah.
blood's going to squirt here
That's
and it's
true.
going to squirt there, and now you just made a cleanup project for me. Whereas if you drop a weight on your Nike Jordan and crush your foot,
Yeah,
you
keep it
just
all in
take
one
that
place.
shoe, out, go to the hospital. That's your problem.
Yeah, that's
Go
true.
quickly. Don't
true.
spill any blood.
Yeah, move quickly. You don't have to bleed out of the shoe. You'll make it. But I don't want your problem all over my weights. Yeah, there we
I
go.
back this.
It was
So
good.
wait, so-
It was good.
So fat Rambo with sandals on. That's our nightmare.
It could be
true.
bad. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of good
that
and
it?
valuable information in this episode.
I think that's it. Just because I'm fucking starving.
yeah,
Yeah, I gotta go eat.
me too.
See, people realize we gave up like a half a day.
I know.
We started at 10:30 and it's 1:40.
I have a full day's worth of check-ins to do still.
Yeah,
So
I got
why?
a bunch of people that are wondering.
And
like,
for the record, it's 4:45 here. So
Yeah,
our
the
day's
day's
running
like
low.
over.
yeah, I know. Okay, I gotta go. Remember, everybody, like, share, subscribe, comment, and
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Ring the
bell.
goddamn bell. Ring the bell. That's the Ring the Bell remix from Dusty.
Was.
Okay, remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.
What about that show next week?
We got to ask her though, because she's a trainer.
Yeah, we got to find
Okay.
out what she can do, because I can do Sunday if you want to go early.
Okay, I can do
That's
that
possible?
if that's a thing.
Oh,
if that's an
actually, I
option.
can't.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't.
You're gonna be there.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm out
Oh,
of town
yeah.
all weekend.
I'll shoot her a message real quick and just verify that we can if she can do that.
Does she want to rebook? Does she want to go live on Wednesday? I don't know.
I'll ask her all
Wednesday
the
I'm
options.
traveling.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm gone Wednesday.
Oh, that's
so
for the trip, right?
yeah, so my plan was going to be like to do as little as possible, but get the show edited literally like after we record it. I've got like a few hours left in the day. I was literally going to edit it right then, upload it, but schedule it to come out Wednesday because Tuesday I've got to like do all my shit to leave Wednesday
So
morning.
when did you want me to reschedule for though? I thought you said Tuesday, Scott.
Um,
I mean like a
No,
a
that was
separate
my
week?
idea. Tuesday was my
Yeah,
idea.
Tuesday I'm kind of shut down
what's
because I
the
have
idea
another
then?
show. I could have done Sunday, but Ron's gone. Ron's still
So-
gone.
So
I'm-
we really need to just push
I'm-
her back to what date at the earliest?
I come back like for a week. I'll be gone. I'm going to look at the opening the calendar right now. So
Just tell me the earliest I can have her, and then I'll let her book
All right.
whatever day she wants after that.
all right.
I gotta piss real bad, so I gotta go.
All right, go. This
But
is
we will
this
sort
is
this out.
All right. See
Cool.
ya. I will be back by like the 6th.
Okay, the 6th of
July.
Oh, shit. This is where this is all getting wacky right now.
Why is that?
Let's see, the 6th of July.
I'm gonna hit a button here. We're gonna go dark for a minute, but I'm still here.